Well, yeah. While we wait for the video to get set up, I just wanted to say, like, I come today because I feel like the concerns of the dissenting voice within the city of Oakland has been ignored. Regardless of the skin color of those who come up to talk about their dissent of stop and frisk, I don't think it should matter if they're white or if they're black. If they're white, yes, they may not have as many instances running into this problem. However, they still have the right to dissent to this particular issue. There are plenty of people who are against stop and frisk, and I'm going to, go back to the point that Ms. Schaaf, I'm going to be addressing you. So, all right, that the fact that you said stop and frisk was not a part of the legislation, but I'm going to go down first and talk about the reasons why I'm really sad that we're even considering Bill Bratton as an alternative or as a solution for this consulting team. The first reason is going to be, which is in this video. Whenever the screenshot comes up, I'll just press play so we can see it. But it makes me sad because when I went to find out the gender of my son, I almost cried and I had to force a smile. I tried to talk about this a lot before I came because I didn't want to cry. I'm sad and scared to be having a black boy in Oakland. And it's not because of just Bill Bratton. That's some new thing to me that I didn't even know anything about the plans for him to come into the consulting team. I just was sad because I saw this while filming the Justice for Alan Bluford rally one day to say that they are very unhappy about the way that the City Council and the Oakland Police Department is handling the unjust death of their son. And I go to meet my friends at Awaken Cafe, and when I'm there, all of a sudden, literally, these two boys get pulled over because they're black and have on a certain color t-shirt. That describes almost like 25% of Oakland, depending on the color of the shirt. And so I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous. We already have very racial policies that are being implemented, and we call them by every other name but what they are, which is racial profiling. And I'm like, where am I going to run to? I can't go to New York. Bill Bratton has already put stop and frisk there. I can't go to LA because it's already there. I already have a drawback because of the color of my skin, regardless of the fact that I'm actually Japanese and Creole. So just me being dark is enough to say that I'm black and I'm a criminal and I'm a hooligan and everything else, because when I get passionate and I cuss a little bit, I offend people, and so I'm a hooligan. And I'm like, I'm sorry, even as an educated speaker, I can't always curb my language. I can't always find the words that would be more appropriate and socially acceptable to express my rage without offending people. And sometimes I hope that I am offending you so that you will understand the hurt that I have, even if you can't be in my shoes. Can I play the video, please? Is it possible to play the video? Okay. Okay, great. So now we're not on the internet, whatever. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so in the video, what's happening is I was sitting right outside of Awaken Cafe. I had my puppy, Brownie, and so I couldn't go in with Justin and Courtney to have a cup of coffee after the rally. And while I'm sitting there, two boys are walking past me, and I see an Oakland Police Department, Oakland police officer driving towards 19th and Broadway. He slams on his brakes and looks at these two boys, and I'm being very sarcastic because I heckle the police at this point. We all know that. And I said, hey, they didn't do anything. They're just walking while black. And the boys looked at me and went, I know, right? Like, we had this moment. And then all of a sudden, the officers hit a U-turn, jump out the car with their guns pulled on them, and start screaming for them to get on the ground. Romel Johannes was just graduating from high school, had never been in trouble. His cousin was visiting him from Ethiopia. They were walking to get food. But because they were black and had a blue t-shirt on, that's the way that they were treated. And I'm sorry, but I live in Oakland. I see a whole bunch of black men and black boys with blue t-shirts on every day when I come outside. I don't think that this should be the accepted practice because we're desperate for help, that we don't mind criminalizing everyone. on to try to figure out a solution for the issues in our neighborhood. We have to find something. I know it's a little bit more difficult than like just pull over every black person in Oakland, but I'm like, we have to work a little harder to try to find a better solution so that I don't feel like I need to run from my home to be safe and provide a good life for my son. I'm already low income, so I have a drawback there too. So I'm like, could I please not have to worry about the police might shoot my son? I really don't want my son to have to pay for anything that I've done over the past year, going to fuck the police marches and filming them. You know what I mean? I don't want the police to criminalize my son because they hate his father and tear gassed him down to the ground on May Day. I don't want my son to have to pay for these things. But if we make this type of policy the common practice, then like Jean Quan commonly said when she wanted to use my name for PR reasons, we need to do a better job of working with our youth. And Jessica Holly is a wonderful example of that. So right now I'm telling you how I'm an example of the fact that the rest of the city does not trust the police. The people that you hear in here saying that I'm for Bill Bratton and I'm for this are just desperate and scared because they don't know what else to do and they want a solution. And I'm like, if you got $250,000 for him, why didn't you have $250,000 to keep the schools open? Why didn't you have $250,000 to do anything else for the redevelopment of the real community in Oakland? You can give $250,000 to the police department. You can give them another, what, $1.5 million. You can even talk about the $39,000 you want to give them tonight or whatever, right? But you can't talk about giving that money into other community programs without making every single individual council member work hella hard to try to put together some kind of something to do for their, why not even start off with a budget, since this is solutions to bring your solutions to City Hall Day? Why not redistribute those funds? I'm sorry, I'm not a socialist, but why not do something else with that money so that we as a community could be more responsible for ourselves? Why not do that? I'm like, I have many people that I know that can't go to work because they have kids, but they can't find child care, and they can't, there's so many other issues that we could be focusing on and we could be redistributing these funds to where we don't actually have to worry about having excessive police. But more police, and I'll say it again, is not how you solve crime. I'm telling you now that if I can't find a job and I have to pay for my child to have shoes and food, I'm going to end up stop caring about I can't do this. Because what I really can't do is let my child starve. And that's what a lot of people are going through. What I really can't do is let my kids be homeless because I can't afford rent. Because my Social Security is $830, but my rent is $750. And then I'm like, what I really can't do is understand how when I come to the city council and talk about this, it's hella difficult for us to make any of these other changes so that we could try to push together as a community without the dependence upon the police department and some of these programs that are getting shut down continuously for a lack of funding. But it's really easy for us to pass money for the police department. It's really easy for us to get them some $900 cameras that they shut off anyway so that they still not accountable for the things that they do. It's very easy for them to get some high-tech forensic video software for them to try to criminalize us, but it's not so easy for the same system to try to use millions of streams and free videos by citizens that show all the misconduct and abuses that they have fucking put forth. So I'm like, I really think that we need to redirect our focus here. I don't think that there is enough being done by the city council, and I'm not trying to, like I said, I don't have your job, and I know it's hella difficult, and you have regular lives, but I'm like, I really think that we need to try to do something else so that we can ensure the fact that the community can count on itself and not be inside and scared of each other and afraid of the police.